Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Avexia webinar series. Our topic for today is scaling your practice to $20,000 a month. My name is Christopher Chu. I'm the Director of Marketing for Avexia Diagnostics and will be your host. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of being joined by an exciting guest, Robin Johnson, who will be our presenter for this webinar. Robin Johnson is a functional dietitian nutritionist. Her passion for using food and lifestyle as medicine found her after a personal battle and triumph with psoriasis. She and her team specialize in helping women address the root cause of skin struggles and believe you deserve to feel good in your skin all month long. Robin runs a virtual private practice and is the creator of the Functional Nutrition Practitioner Institute, a functional certification and business mentorship program. She also founded a hydration powder called Ravi to make mineral intake easier for all. Without further delay, I will now turn the webinar over to Robin.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming today. We are going to dig right in here. Today, I'm going to be talking about strategies to scale your practice to 20K plus months. And we're going to break this down I'm going to go over my 3-phase process specifically created for practitioners in business. While I'm a dietitian, we have worked with many practitioners through this process, from dietitians, nurses, PAs, chiropractors, nurse practitioners, nutritionists, health coaches, and more. So really, if you're a practitioner in business, this is for you today. And to go even deeper, this is very much for you if within your business, you feel like you're stuck with your revenue. You're not making the money that you want. You want to be seeing consistent, predictable sales and know exactly why people are buying so you can put that strategy on repeat. Your dreams are big, but your time is capped, especially if you're in a one-to-one model where your time is traded for dollars and you want to build something bigger than that and still have an impact that you feel really good about. And lastly, you secretly question your clinical skills or suspect that your confidence in your clinical skills may be getting in the way when it comes to marketing and selling your business. Here's today's agenda. I won't read through these, but briefly, we're going to talk about this 3-phase process, which is scalable systems, profit path, and clinical confidence. Before I continue, though, a little intro to who I am. My name's Robin. I have been in practice for 10 years. I've been in business for 7 years, and I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So I own a private practice where myself and my team of 7 see clients all over the US, specifically working with chronic skin issues like acne, rosacea, psoriasis, etc. I also have started a product company called Ravi, and I also mentor and help clinicians build their confidence and their clinical skills in a practitioner training program and business coaching program called FMPI. So that's a little bit about what I do. And I also want to touch about where I've been, how I've gotten here. From 0 to 7 figures, I started, like I said, 7 years ago in private practice. It's when I started my business. And I started by this photo here with me in the grocery store was 10 years ago. I was selling myself in grocery stores, trying to give people free tours, which they very much did not want. And I did presentations, speaking events in gyms. I really started putting myself out there from a marketing perspective and really grew my business initially with word of mouth. I'm not going to go into things I've done over the last 7 years to grow my practice and to expand the business. But to summarize, what has helped me grow from 0 to 7 figures is when I really stopped running my business like a solo practice and I started scaling it like a CEO. And I started treating my business like a business instead of a side hustle. And there is very much strategy to that. And that's what I'm going to talk about today is those strategies. But let's first review, what do I mean when I say running a solo practice? Here's some examples. Wearing all the hats in your business, feeling like you are always busy, maybe always busy, but not always feeling productive. running both the fulfillment side of your business and the growth. So you're delivering the services and you're in charge of all the marketing and everything else, finances, everything. You're hitting a revenue cap due to time. You're trading your time for dollars. Your business is financially dependent on 1 to 3 offers that are also based on your time. You're expanding your offer suite, but you have zero time to actually market it. You're overwhelmed juggling a high client load plus admin plus marketing. You feel isolation doing this all by yourself. You're doing tasks that are way below your hourly rate. Your marketing then falls behind because you're so busy in fulfillment that the marketing becomes secondary. And eventually, if that continues, sales fall shortly after that. And inherently, there will be limits, both financially, when your business is reliant completely on your energy and your time. And if that's where you're at and it feels like this, that's normal. That's running a solo practice, especially for years. So, what's the difference with scaling like a CEO? This is where there's unlimited financial potential, there's free time and white space for you to create or do what you want and really be doing the things that not only help the business grow financially, but they fill up your energy. They make you love what you're doing. You have better work-life balance. You have an A+ team supporting both the fulfillment side and the growth side. You have a strong brand with broader services, not fully reliant on just 1 to 3 offers. You're doing tasks that boost your energy and your income. You have immense personal growth, which is just the journey of scaling a business. And then you're looking at the investment, the return on your investments versus just the cost of investments. The truth is, scaling a business is energizing and it can be very simple when you have scalable systems in place, you have a clear profit path, and you have confidence in your offer. And that is the practitioner profit method. So, this is exactly what we're going to break down today. And just to give you a peek at some of the results that our clients, our practitioner clients, have had when implementing this method, here are a few of them. I won't read through all of them, but these are true stories from practitioners in business who went from running solo practices to scaling like CEOs, going from 2K to 15K months in 3 months, going from 0 clients to being booked out for 3 months, going from 4K to 12K in 4 months. There's been dozens, excuse me, dozens of peaceful mornings created back in their lives. Thousands of clients' lives are changed, hours and hours of time saved, and hundreds of women building wealth through their businesses. So step 1 is scalable systems. When we typically ask people what's the most important system in their business, oftentimes they're thinking like, oh, my email list or an EMR, which yes, those are helpful and important tech systems. But the most important system is actually your energy. And by that, I mean your nervous system, your mindset, your health, your happiness, your balance. You are the heart and lifeline of your business. And the business is only as strong as you, the leader. You are truly the foundation. It's not your marketing. It's not your sales strategy. It's not your social media or your branding. Nothing in your business will click and work quite right if you are not taking care of you, the CEO. And oftentimes we see that common cracks in the foundation of someone's business is actually their fear. It's their anxiety. It's their scarcity mindset. It's them running the business in chaos and stress and always feeling behind or busy or feeling overwhelmed. Those are all cracks in the foundation, and that's the responsibility of the leader, of the owner, of the CEO. And I mention this because this is part of scaling a business. And a lot of times it's easy as the practitioner when we have our clients' health as a priority and their health is in mind, that it can become a bad habit to not prioritize your health and your nervous system as you're scaling a business, because of course there's a ton of things to do. But this is part of phase one for a reason, because it will be a bottleneck if it's not supported. So we look at scalable systems as two sections. We have our energy systems, which I don't mean like necessarily woo-woo, which I'm open to woo-woo, but what I mean here is your nervous system, your energy. How are you spending your time? Are you doing things that are either revenue generating or they really light you up and make you love what you do? Are you setting boundaries in your business? Are your thoughts supporting your dream, or are you constantly making decisions from a place of fear or scarcity or lack, worrying that some people are going to stop buying, or something, there's the launch is going to flop, or there's an execution problem, or always worrying about the worst case scenario? Are you living or working towards your ideal schedule? Are you aware of if you procrastinate or you're a perfectionist, are you aware of why? Those are very much nervous system side effects, really. Are you supporting your nervous system? Are you making decisions from a place of desire? These are all foundational pieces that are important before we actually get into the weeds of strategy. And then the other half of scalable systems is your technology. So this is stuff that people usually are already aware of. Are you maximizing tech automations in your business to save you time? Can your tech support your business when you're sleeping or when you're on vacation, from your followers to lead generation to sales to customer support? Can your business run when you step away? Does anything need to be delegated? Is your tech nurturing your customer experience? These are all things that can be audited to look at where can we use technology or where can we use people to help optimize your systems. Scaling a business is really an inside job. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, our goal is to figure out why and find a solution, because there is always a solution. You can always find problems in business, especially if you look for them, but a true CEO is constantly screening for the solutions versus the problem. And this does require a lot of self-awareness and decision-making. This is an example of a client of ours who was extremely overwhelmed. She felt like she was busy all the time, but not feeling productive, and she was drowning in her business. So when she started with us in January of 2023, her schedule looked like this on the left. She had 60 client meetings per month. She was overwhelmed, and she was capped with her income at 15K months. She also had 3 kids, and she was trying to juggle home life, and she worked from home. She has a virtual practice. She was trying to juggle it all, and she didn't at all feel like she was crushing it. And then fast forward a few months, after implementing scalable systems and the practitioner profit method, you can see her calendar has so much more white space. She cut her meeting time in half and she doubled her revenue. Now she was out hanging out with her kids on the trampoline and doing the things that were really cup filling in her personal life while still feeling like she had a huge impact in her business. Here's another example with Margaret. She, again, was overwhelmed with one-on-one clients and had a capped income at also around 15K months. She was able to double that within 5 months and really completely shifted the way she looked at business. She started running her business like a CEO, and her revenue showed that. And she got a bunch of time back too. She also moved her family to Florida, so they're at the beach all the time. She has a nice tan all the time. She has a much better balance with her business. All right, so moving into phase 2, which is the profit path. This is where we get into more strategy around sales and marketing. Selling should feel like the easiest thing you do in your nutrition business, because when you know exactly what to say and you know exactly who your ideal customer is, and you know how to position your offer in a way that makes it clear to them that your services are not a gamble, they are extremely confident in moving forward. And this is all in messaging and marketing and how you position your offer. Gone are the days where sales conversations have to take an hour. If your content and your marketing is effective, it is an easy yes for the right person. Now, as practitioners, and I'm so guilty of this, it is quite easy to want to lean into education as the thing to show people that your offer or your services can can change their life. It's so transformational. And we, we're trained in our brains to really think logic and education. And that can be the method that we attempt to use for sales, but that is outdated. To be honest, that worked 5, 6 years ago. It worked really well. Selling with educational forward content crushed it. It doesn't anymore. It's the AOL of selling. And what I mean by that, this is the outdated way of selling. Spending hours creating content and hoping that it is a strategy, or hoping that it will be a successful piece of content. Positioning educational content as sales content. By educational content, I mean teaching about the body, or giving tips and tricks, or simply giving recipes. Those are all leaning more towards like educational content, which people love. And you may get engagement, you may get saves, you may get appreciated for teaching. But consumers, people who love your content, is different than buyers, people who decide to pay you for your services. Randomly adding freebies or low ticket offering, attempting to solve money objections by just creating a lower ticket offer. Posting cookie cutter posts and stories that don't activate people to buy. They don't get people curious to want more of what you're talking about. Or getting more content, or getting content inspo from other creators rather than your ideal client. Even if you have the same niche as someone else on social media, it doesn't matter unless you know for a fact that they have the exact same ideal customer, and that goes way beyond just their physical symptoms or the pain point that they might be struggling with. So instead, let's talk about a 20K sales strategy that actually is effective. Number one, getting clear on who your ideal clients are. And I know you've probably done this 1,000 times, but I'm not talking about the basic ideal client info. I'm not talking just about their age range or their gender or what magazines they read. I'm talking about their values, their belief systems. What do they think about from morning to night? What is happening in their day? Every single experience, every single detail matters. Those things are going to tell you deep, deep things about your ideal client that help you create effective content that speaks directly to them. So I don't have enough time to get into the weeds of this, but deeply knowing your ideal customer is essential for these next following steps. Once you know your ideal customer, creating content that activates them. What I mean by activate is it builds enough curiosity that they want more. Yes, they'll probably continue following for more trust building, but it activates them to want to move forward with you. And there's a difference between content that educates and that they might want to save and they've learned something from, versus a piece of content that makes them go, I need what she's talking about, and moves them forward into inquiring about your services or buying your services. And that is all in the messaging and how you create your content, how you're speaking to your ideal customer. And then lastly, presenting your offer as a no-brainer investment, not a gamble. What we know about buyer behavior is people will not buy if they are confused, if they are overwhelmed, or if they feel like the offer is a gamble, meaning they are not convinced that this is going to solve the problem that they have, or that this is going to help them achieve the desire that they want. If it feels like a risk, that is when you will start to see a ton of objections come up. Well, I need to talk to my partner. It's too expensive. What if this doesn't work? Those are obviously, yes, people may not be able to, there are true financial objections, and there's other ways to support that, like lower ticket offers. But oftentimes, majority of the time, it's not actually about the price. It's about the fact that they see the offer as a gamble versus a no-brainer investment, and a not necessarily guaranteed, because we're never going to promise outcomes, but that they are confident in the transformation that they will receive from working with you. And all of this is about how you create content, the messages, the messaging that you're using, the language that you're using, the way you're crafting emails, the way you're writing captions, the way you're doing stories. All of this is content, and the message that you use is how you create activating content and no-brainer investment content. And we've had many practitioners implement this type of content. And Lauren went from trying to DIY her services, she almost decided that business wasn't for her. And when she implemented activating content and learned how to position her offer, she 10x'd her revenue in 8 weeks. Lacey went from spending hours and hours and hours on content and felt like it wasn't working, which is a huge waste of time if you're spending tons of time and it doesn't even feel like it's working, to sending us messages like, in the last 12 hours, I've had 3 applications come in. Oh my gosh, what's happening? I've just hit my biggest month ever. By 15 days into the month, she was already at $10,000, or just about to $11,000. I'll say this again. Selling is simple when you know exactly what to say to make your content a magnet to your ideal client. And those last few words are key: to your ideal client. It's easy to look at social media and think, I'm just talking to people, but you're not. You're talking to your ideal client. And so if you don't know exactly who that person is really, really well, it's going to make effective content creation harder. One more example, this is Sarah. She went from not seeing sales despite posting regularly to seeing 21 applications, 5 sales calls, and 3 new clients sign up for her program in just a week. All right, moving into clinical confidence. There's a quote that says, self-doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. And I include this here because it is human to have self-doubt. And I'm not about toxic positivity over here. This is what I'm talking about here with clinical confidence, is asking yourself if self-doubt in your services is getting in the way of your sales and marketing. Because if you aren't sold on your own services and the value that you provide or your services provide, it'll show up. It'll show up in your sales and your marketing. So some assessments of how self-doubt may be getting in your way. Here are some really common things that we see happening with practitioners. Resistance to sell high ticket because you secretly question if you can actually help them get results. Feeling like an imposter if you don't have your own health completely figured out yet. Spending hours perfecting your content because you're terrified that if you say something wrong publicly, people will come for you. Procrastinating posting or selling because what if someone actually says yes? You actually have to work with someone. Comparing yourself to other providers who seem to get amazing results for every single client that they have. Feeling good about your offer, but questioning if there are tools that you may be missing, maybe things that you want to expand or labs that you want to add, or just feeling stuck with complicated cases. Again, I want to normalize that self-doubt is human, and I would argue that it's probably a good thing that practitioners have some version of self-doubt, especially in the early stages, because otherwise there's a bunch of arrogance in the way, and that can lead to bigger problems. Your clients don't need you to know every single thing. They need you to be a figure outer, to be 10 steps ahead of them, to be able to lead with confidence, and to have the resources to answer things, even if you don't know them off the top of your head. The brain loves to keep us safe and comfy. So if you find yourself going to the worst case scenario, the unthinkable tragedy in this case, then that is a indication that maybe some nervous system support would be helpful, and to check yourself on what could help you here to feel really confident about your offer. Because being in business is a continuous exercise of creative problem solving, and lacking knowledge clinically is one of the easiest problems to solve. Because if there's one thing that's not lacking in today's world, it's access to education. I mean, even through this webinar, you're accessing education. It is everywhere. And if you feel that you don't have the clinical knowledge that's to thrive in your business, if you feel that you're lacking information or that in any way is holding you back from marketing and selling your services, there is an easy solution to that. And that is simply getting the education you need or the practice you need to help build that confidence. And it is a muscle. You can't just build the confidence by taking a course. You have to work with real people and put the hours in and put the practice in. That is just a step that you cannot skip. Here's an example of one of our practitioners who is a nurse, and she was having a lot of self-doubt about not having a dietetics degree. And by implementing the practitioner profit method and building her clinical skills and learning strategies for scaling her business, she went from 4K to 12K in 4 months, and said she had our program had a huge impact on her revenue. She 3x'd her previous income. Clinically, she was able to confirm her clinical knowledge plus gain new tools and confidence and offer more labs to her clients. This is another example of one of our practitioners who, over the time period of a year of being one of our members, and we help with client cases as needed, she would post case studies. And initially she said, I definitely still feel like I need a bit of hand holding with new cases. A few months later, she said, I just got labs back for a client and I'm actually feeling pretty confident, but want to make sure I'm on the right track. So she was getting better, but still wanted a second set of eyes. And then fast forward a few months after that, she said, I felt completely calm prepping right before the session and created a protocol I feel incredibly confident about. And then she said she posted one of the most complicated cases and actually felt excited and confident about the plan she created. And I want to emphasize that that was over a series of probably 6 to 9 months of implementing or practicing with clients, working with clients, learning lab reviews, putting in the time to build her education. It didn't come from just watching a couple modules. She had to put the time in. But her clinical confidence is night and day from where she was when she started working with us. All right, those are the quick recap. Those are the 3 steps: scalable systems, profit path, and clinical confidence. Now, here's what most practitioners do when running a solo practice. I've kind of talked about this a little bit, but I just want to highlight again that this is more of the stressful, hard, overwhelming way to scale a business, spending hours creating content, hoping it lands because they don't know how to make their content do the selling for them. Using procrastination and perfectionism as a protective mechanism to avoid selling or delegating because something deeper is in the way. Some other fear or story is happening underneath the surface there. Panicking with the down months because there's no predictable strategy in place for sales, or panicking looking at financial data. All of these things are indications that the nervous system and fear are leading the business. Getting overwhelmed or overwhelming themselves by taking on more clients, building more programs that rely on the individual instead of building a business to scale. And lastly, trying to DIY it with free trainings, learnings, online courses, business coaches that don't touch on both the business and clinical side of growth, especially if the lack of clinical confidence is part of your story. But what if I were to say, because I am here to say, what if it wasn't so hard, dare I say, simple to scale a business? And if that has you curious, you're talking to the right, you're at the right webinar here. This is an example of a client of ours, Allie, who completely niched. She changed her niche from eating disorders to gut health. And by implementing the practitioner profit method, she was able to scale from 8K months to 20K months within 5 months, and said, I feel like I have a better approach through a functional lens, and I'm able to look at the body as a whole and feel more confident with my clients. My mindset's in a better place and my sales have increased drastically. She really transformed the offer she had. She built in new labs into her practice, and she's just crushing it with helping people with chronic digestive issues. Jamie is another client of ours. She started with absolutely zero clients. She was fresh with starting her business and less than 1,000 Instagram followers. And now she's crushing 18K months consistently and has significantly improved her clinical confidence over the last year, couple years actually. And then one more, Tava. She has been through numerous programs before, and so was kind of nervous in another type of business program. But because we incorporated both business and clinical, it really supported both pieces of what she needed for business growth. So she went from 2K to 15K in 3 months, 2K months to 15K months in 3 months, and really shifted her mindset of what her business could look like. We've also helped numerous clients go from working a part-time job while trying to grow their business to quitting their job or going back or cutting back from full-time to part-time to be able to spend more time in their business doing the things that they really love and feel like makes a big impact. So if you're ready to start scaling like a CEO via the practitioner method, I have a great place to start, and that would be our profit path audit. This is for any sort of practitioner. This is for individuals who sell any type of offer from a one-on-one to hybrid or passive programs or a combination for any niche, whether that's gut, hormones, fertility, PCOS, pregnancy, anything and everything, with any audience size from less than 1,000 followers to over 250,000 followers. We've supported businesses of all sizes. The profit path audit is specifically for you if you're ready to grow your business, but you're feeling fuzzy and unclear on your next steps. You're putting in the time, but you don't feel like you're getting the return on your time or money investment, and you want clear action steps for moving forward. You want to maximize efficiency and profitability. Our audit highlights the inefficiencies in your business. We take a deep dive into your business and look at everything from your offer suite to your finances, to your marketing strategy, to your content, to your team. We audit it all and look for areas of insufficiencies and untapped potential. If you want a customized strategy, not just generic advice, this audit is very tailored to your business, which is why we have you do an extensive intake form so that we can get a lot of data to properly audit and make recommendations. If you value expert guidance, myself and my partner, Sierra, who's a sales and launch expert, do these audits. So you have 2 practitioner eyes and business expert eyes on your business, making the recommendations. We've worked with hundreds of practitioners implementing the practitioner profit method to help them scale. And lastly, you want to simplify decision-making. We outline clear strategies and initiatives broken down into what needs to be done in the next 30 days versus the next 60 or 6 months to 12 months in your business so that you have clear action steps that align with both your professional goals and your personal goals. So how this would work is you would complete an intake form. We do the deep dive audit. You receive a 10 to 15 page digital report outlining the findings, and then you would join a 60-minute live Zoom call to discuss everything, to be able to answer questions and to talk about your plan of implementation. So if that is something that you're looking for, you can find more info and the link for that at fnpinstitute.com. And to wrap up, I'll just highlight a couple other wins that our members have had when working with us, from sales, lots more sales, new clients, hiring admin, quitting their jobs, crushing financial goals. We love supporting our clients and hearing their wins and cheerlead them all the way. Again, here's more info if you want to take part in that audit or find out anything else that we're doing. All of that is at fnpinstitute.com. All right. Thank you so much for joining today.